What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, I've got a new video talking about the new Flame Noble Knight cards. So, this is more of a discussion video, so keep that in mind. This isn't really me showing off combos, showing replays, anything like that. This is going to be more me talking about, like, right after these cards get revealed. Like, I think a lot of people have been underestimating it, looking at this wave of cards we got, because we got 10 new cards. I think a lot of people just looked at them and went, yeah, I read them, they're not that good, but I think what a lot of people failed to remember is like how much this deck already has. Flame Noble Knights are really not that separate from Noble Knights. They have some effects that require stuff to be fire attribute, but other than that, like, they flow really well together, I think, overall. Especially when you have a card so generic like Isolde and stuff like that, and the cards like Madrot, just being able to special summon a Noble Knight straight from deck and stuff. So today, I'm going through all the stuff that you need to keep in mind when we're thinking about this new deck that's coming out, because I think a lot of people have just been forgetting about like what we already have and what we also have coming. That's another big one. So, yeah. So first things first, we've got these two guys. The other two Flame Noble Knights that we already had revealed a while ago, and when we saw them, we said, are these actual Noble Knights, or are these just like, is this just like a weird translation thing? No, they're actual Noble Knights, and they were just the ones leading us into this new archetype, Flame Noble Knights, and they're both pretty solid. I mean, Renaud is just a free special summon from hand, and he gets you a resource back from Grave or Banish. And Roland can quick effect equip, which is particularly good when we look at our new boss synchro, because whenever an equip is equipped to a monster on your field, even during the damage step, you can just quick effect destroy one card on the field. So it adds to your ability to set up disruptions. On top of that, during the end phase of the turn, he's in the graveyard. He's been sent to the graveyard. He just adds you any Fire Warrior or any equipped spell straight from the deck. So that's actually pretty good. Pretty generically good search there, even though it is on end phase. A little slow, but very good, right? So I think both of those are ones that you keep in mind. And also the last thing, they're level 1s, which means Isolde can just special these from deck, and you don't even have to worry. Like, I don't know. A lot of times in like regular Noble Knights before this, you kind of had to special summon level 4s from the deck. You had to send 4 equips, but this means later on in the duel, if maybe you have your equips and it's been a grind, you have a couple equips in grave, you can't really get to another level 4, you can just special these guys. This guy on summon just gets you a resource back from grave, that's pretty grindy, or banish, or you just special summon Roland, and then Roland, if you link him off from there, he'll get you a search on the end phase to help you grind even further. So I think they both have a lot going on there. And also Roland, wait, which one? Renaud becomes a tuner when he's special summoned by his own effect, which is also pretty nice. Gotta remember that. The next one is one of the biggest ones. I think this might be the biggest one that a lot of people are forgetting. This card got revealed for a structure deck in the OCG that we have not been confirmed to get. And so my suspicion is that they're just going to import these, because there's only like 4 or 5 new cards that came in this structure deck somewhere in our sets. I don't know if it's going to be Eternity Code imports. I don't know if it's going to be in Rise of the Duelist. I don't know if they'll just put it in like Chaos, Toon Chaos or something like that, a side set, Battles of Legend, whatever it is. I believe we're going to get this sooner rather than later because it pairs so cleanly with the rest of this archetype, especially the new stuff. It's a Fire Warrior. So much of this archetype already revolves around this. He's really easy to get on the field because all you have to do is have any equip in spell on field or in graveyard to get him out of the hand. Then he can steal an opponent's monster and equip it to himself, like Thousand-Eyes Restrict. And then also he has a quick effect where if he is equipped with something, or if you have any equipped spells on the field, you can just send him to the graveyard to negate monster effect activations and destroy them. He's everything. He's removal. He's a big body. He's monster negation. He is such a nice buff for the deck, because if you can just end this and the synchro, the new synchro, you're actually looking at like a pretty good board. I mean, it's a monster negation and just a pop any card on the field. A lot of decks are going to struggle to get through that. Not only just that, but then 2 big chunguses. That's a huge one. We don't know when it's coming, but I have a very, very sneaking suspicion that it's going to be sooner rather than later for sure. And then we move to like all the like Noble Knight stuff, just the good Noble Knight stuff that we haven't had for so long. Moving through everything, we have like a lot of the main monsters, just like Madrat, Boars, classic stuff. Morgan's kind of a weird one because she's not searchable and like she's really bad going second, and she takes kind of set it because you have to have a Noble Knight and a Noble Arms equip on the field, which isn't the hardest in the deck, but like she seems so extra. If there was like a consistent way to search her as part of a combo, then for sure you'd probably play her because she's just any effect activation negation. She's Fiendish, but Fiendish is like super searchable in sub-tier, so that's what makes her so good. So unfortunately, I think Morgan misses out. But we have stuff like Heritage of the Chalice. This card this card searches every card in your deck. This card searches any Noble Knight monster. Wow, that's like literally half the cards in your deck. Or any Noble Arms card. Wow, that's like half the cards in your deck. Like, it really is like search almost anything in your deck. It really searches so much. Such a huge key. And then it also has the ability to come back. So don't forget about this. Any deck that has a Rhoda like this is really strong. And this is better than Rhoda. It's not a soft once per turn, or it's not a non once per turn, but it can search the monsters or some of the, like most of the spells or traps. So that's really, really good. Something like Glory of the Noble Knights. This card's not searchable either because it's not a Noble Knight monster or a Noble Arms spell. But keeping up with the new synchro, when something's equipped to a monster on your field, he gets to pop a card on the field. So this is a quick effect that like just equips something super quick. You could equip something that gives protection on the fly. You could equip something that just gives him the pop, gives him whatever. There's a lot of utility here. And as an extender now, because also the new equip spells are kind of decent, especially this one, Durandal, because it can just like add a level 5 or lower Fire Warrior from deck to hand. That's pretty good. It's just kind of a consistency card at that point. So I think like in multiple situations, like this card becomes a little bit better. I don't know how good, but I definitely think you can't forget it. Don't dismiss it for sure. Then we move to stuff like this. Like, I don't know, one of the best Link monsters still to this day. Like, I know right now it's not in the forefront of the meta, but I think that's because it was so good, Konami had to go after so many of those decks. Konami had to bludgeon Gokis. Not all the way, but like they did a decent number on Gokis. We've seen Dark Warrior get hits here and there. But we've seen how powerful this card can be, and the main drawback of this card in any of the decks it was ever played in was, oh, but you have to play all these bad, bricky equip spells in your deck. Well, this deck kind of already wants to play those because that's what the strategy does. So who cares, right? Which just makes it even better than that, and you just try and do it every single turn to just turbo you into whatever you want. It's so good. It's really amazing. Then we have some of the XZs that we already have. We have Artorgus, the King of the Noble Knights. He's just popping a card once per turn for free. Or actually, he's the one that pops spells and traps. That's right. I was thinking about the rank 5. He can just pop like theoretically up to 3 or 4 back row. Usually it's going to be 1 or 2, which is really good. I mean, I don't know, like up 3, like so easily he can pop 3 back row. He's super, super strong utility wise there, especially with protection. We have stuff like Merlin. This isn't even a Noble Knight card per se, but it really is. It's Lone Fire Blossom for the archetype. People talk about how busted it is for plants, for any plant archetype, that like they all get a Lone Fire, but like this deck just has its own Lone Fire Blossom, and then it has other effects that actually can come up in specific situations too, so it actually can do more than Lone Fire. Then don't forget about all the Noble Arms cards we already have. That's something, another one. We have one that just pops back row. We have one that can put your life points above your opponents in a time-like situation. If you're going first, if you're going into time, you can just gain life points in your main phase to win the duel. Clarent gives you the ability to attack directly. Again, another in-time card that can come up. Excalibur giving your monster protection from all targeting effects. Destiny giving you protection from all destruction. And Gallatin giving you, I believe, the 1,000 point boost. I might be confusing Caliburn and Gallatin, but I can't remember which one. But that's what they all do. Obviously, the new ones are a little more encouraging because they actually do search you into other cards. They're not full-on bricks. But yeah, these ones are still pretty good. Then we have Noble Knight Brothers. This is one of the classic monsters. Very, very good. Still probably the best search target off of Isolde for a follow-up play on the next turn, because any other Noble Knight cards you'll have in hand, you can just drop them all. on that following play. On that following turn, just to kind of like come at your opponent. It's 2,400 booty. It also gets to shuffle stuff, your Noble Knights and your Noble Arms back into the deck to draw a card, which is also very good, specifically with the equips, because you put some equips back, then you draw, then you can get into Isold again, and then you're almost guaranteed to have enough equips still in the deck to turbo into whatever monster you wanted to from there, which is really, really nice. That effect comes up all the time. All the time. Custonin is one of the semi-newer cards. He's a really good extender. He's just a free summon. It's just a free summon, and if he's used to summon a Noble Knight, Synchro Xyz or Link monster, you then can potentially get an extra normal summon for a Noble Knight monster, which is also really nice. So he's a really, really good extender, big booty, I like all that stuff. Dryston, he's just solid removal. I don't know if he'll be playable in the next version of the deck, but he is just a pop any face-up card on the field, which is just nice removal. I don't know how great he'll be overall, but like that's still nice. Gawain, still a decent extender, especially with how much searchability between Rhoda and Heritage of the Chalice. He's just, if you open Madrot or Boars and equip, this guy is the last extender that's definitely going to get you like all the way home. Very, very nice card, even at just a one-of. Just sometimes you need to search that one card. It's just a free body on board. Iavan. This is another one where I'm kind of unsure on because he makes a token, and the token's great for just making Isold nice and easy. But the problem with that is that he can't really be, the token can't be used to make the Synchro, and the token can't really be used to make the, Xyz either. They can't really make either of those. So that's kind of unfortunate. And he also locks you into only Noble Knight Masters, so it's not even like for the rest of the turn, so you can't even link off the token for just other Link monsters. You can't use the token to make an Appaloosa or anything like that, or Boral Sword to kill your opponent. It's just kind of there. If you've already had the ability to make Isold, or you made Isold, the token's just kind of there at that point. So it's kind of mediocre for sure, but maybe it's a card you play just to turbo into Isold faster. If that's what the deck becomes, it's just get into Isold, get into Isold, get into Isold, we still might see this guy see play. And then we finish up with the last two Xyz here. We have Sacred Noble Knight, King Artorius. This is the one that just pops a card once per turn, right? Yeah. It just pops any other monster on the field once per turn, and then it floats when it's sent from the field of the graveyard. Just sent. Does not have to be destroyed, does not have to be sent by your opponent's card effect or anything. It's just sent, period. You could literally link this off for Gravity Controller and then just like special summon a Noble Knight back from grave if you wanted to, which is actually pretty dang good. And then the last one is King Custonin. Oh, actually, there's one more after this. Sorry. King Custonin, he's the one that can just bounce multiple cards your opponent controls up to the amount of materials you'd attach, which is very good. You could just summon him and just bounce like 2 extra deck monsters your opponent controls. And then, if he's destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you just get to special summon another Noble Knight Xyz, and then he equips himself as material, which is really nice. It's a nice float and nice protection, nice removal. That's why they had to make him a little weaker in the stats department. And the last card is Until Noble Arms Are Needed Once Again. This card's also very, very good. Unless you look at the top of your deck and add a certain card, that could potentially be a hand trap that adds extra disruption, or it could just be a follow-up play. Something you know will help you make a strong push on the following turn, and then its graveyard effect is a quick effect to just banish itself to just special a Noble Knight straight from the deck. We got new ones of those. That's just only going to get better and better with the more we get. So this card's also really good. It's a little slower, but if you're able to hold your opponent off to kind of get this going, and like 2 turns later after like popping both of these 2 of these off from grave with like, because of you dumped them all with like Boars' effect, you really start to get things rolling, and then you can start winning. But I would say the main thing is like, for a while, for like what this deck has done is it hasn't really been able to set up disruptions. It's 2020, everybody. Like, you have to be able to set up disruptions in 2020, otherwise your deck doesn't really do much going first. Like, a sticky monster on board is not going to cut it. It's just not. So what I really appreciate is we've got a pop, and I'm assuming if we get this guy, we also can get a monster negate built in, and I guarantee there's a combo to get both fairly consistently in the deck, because that's just how we do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I was kind of just going through everything and showing you guys everything that you can't really forget, all the factors that could go into what could make this deck a potential threat. I don't see it being better than like tier 2, but who knows? Maybe this could be a tier 2 deck. Maybe Noble Knights could be legit tier 2. I don't know, But I'm curious to find out, and it's a very cool deck. They have always had some of the coolest art in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think anybody would argue that. And yeah, I just think people kind of looked at this. I saw too many people that I think immediately looked at this and said, that sucks. That stuff sucks. But I think once you combine it with everything and look at also what we're getting next to this with like Gearfried and like the other two Flame Noble Knights, I really think that this deck has potential to be a legitimately, competent deck come, the upcoming formats. So that's pretty much all I wanted to throw at you today. I know it was kind of a lot, I know it was kind of rambly, but thank you for sticking with me if you made it this far. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Basic stuff, basic YouTube jargon. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know your thoughts on the Noble Knights as a whole. If you're a seasoned Noble Knight player, definitely let me know your thoughts down below on the new support and how you think the deck kind of rounds out and gets a buff here and there. And I'm looking forward to hear what you say. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.